Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? This is Avijit here, and welcome to DevOps Challenge Hub. So let's start with today's interview question, and let me share my screen. And today again we'll have few questions on Fargate. So first question is, how do you implement custom metrics and alarms for Fargate services? So custom metrics and alarm. So for example, like here I'm running demo cluster, Fargate demo cluster, and I can see that one task is running, and I can also see here you can see the task is running. And I can also see metrics, some default metrics like CPU utilization, memory utilization. But there can be some application specific metrics which you want to collect. Right? For example, HTTP request count, like number of HTTP requests received by the app, or HTTP 5x X error, 500 error, number of server errors you are getting, right? Request latency, DB query duration millisecond, user sign up total, payment failure count. So these are like a, very application specific. Your application is collecting payment, then only you will be going for that. It's very application specific. And those details you won't be, by default, it won't be collected. So you need to do something specific. So what is that you have to do? So in your application, you will be using CloudWatch embedded metrics, right? You'll be using CloudWatch embedded metrics. CloudWatch embedded metric format, EMF, embedded metric format. So what you do basically, you install AWS SDK, npm install AWS SDK, and uh, in your code, what you do, this is your backend code. You set up a logger for the CloudWatch. So you set up a logger for the CloudWatch, which will start logging in the CloudWatch. Okay, app stream forget app metrics, and then send the data. Then metric log. This is in the AMF format. Your my app forget, whatever service name, request count, latency, etc. Whatever data you have, your application specific, you just push it to CloudWatch. Right? From your application, you push it to CloudWatch. So for that, you need to use AWS SDK, CloudWatch, and use CloudWatch specific embedded metric format. So this is what you'll be doing for custom metrics. And then you can create CloudWatch alarm. And once it's available in CloudWatch, then you can save error 500 error greater than 5 per minute. So send some notification. You are getting more than 500 error per minute. So you can send a notification. Or if there are like more than maybe 5 failures, payment failure per minute, you send a notification. So this is what you can do. This is how you can collect custom metrics, and set up alarm for Fargate service. Okay. So custom metric example I've given, some request count, 500 error, payment failure, and just that developer has to add some code, block of code, which will be pushing that metric to CloudWatch user, and this JSON format is called AMF format. CloudWatch using embedded metric format. Okay. And then next question is, what are the consideration for running stateful application on Fargate? So what is stateful application and what is stateless application? So stateless application, you are making a request, you do some activity, user does some activity, and again second request, that request doesn't know what user has done. So it's a stateless. It's a kind of new request. But stateful means it has to remember. Right? It has to remember. Now, generally, like in HTTP also stateless. But how does it remember? It uses like cookies. It can store data. It can inquire in the cookie that user has done this, or it can store the data in the session data. That's how we remember. But otherwise, it's a stateless. And stateful means it remembers the past activity, what you have done before. Like maybe user has added in something in cart. The 2 items are there. So next time when another request is coming, it should remember the previous one. So that kind of thing will be stateful application, and stateless means it does not remember anything. Right? So does not retain user session data between requests. So REST API static websites, they are stateless. If you go to the static website, there are some HTML page. User goes, and again user click on another page, it doesn't need to remember what user has done previous page, right? But in a Amazon.com where you are adding your items to cart, you need to remember when the new request comes. So that will be like a stateful application. Now, once we understood that what is stateless and stateful, now go to let's understand what are the consideration for running stateful application on Fargate. So Fargate, if you want to run stateless, how will you store that information? You can use Amazon AFS or persistent shared storage. So your container is running, and your request is getting served by this container. This container, for some reason, got killed or crashed. Another container comes up, and again another request comes to that container, and then it will be able to pick up that data from shared storage because this guy has already written the data about that particular user into that AFS. So this guy can pick it up from that shared storage, right? So that's how we will be able to remember. It's like, for example, we create a ticket. So employee, you say that this is my laptop problem, and someone customers they someone on the other side they create a ticket and they say that this is the customer problem, etc. And this tomorrow that employee leaves, some other employee comes. So he or she will look into the that database, right, in the ticketing system, Jira ticket or some other ticket. In the ticketing system, they will be able to see that what was the customer problem. So it's written into some database. Right? So similarly, like in Amazon AFS file, it can store. We can use a sticky session application. LB provides session stickiness if needed. We can do that and ensure data is backed up replicated to avoid loss during scaling or task transaction. So the other three things we can do: storage, sticky session, and take backup regular backup. Storage using Amazon EFS. So this type of question, Amazon EFS sharing data, we already discussed. I think previous video or previous to last month. Then how do you implement zero downtime deployment in with Fargate? So zero downtime. Zero downtime. What we can do? One is a blue-green deployment. Blue-green deployment already you have a setup. So set of container Fargates their serving customer. So now you have a new setup. Means you want to push a new changes, so you can create a new deployment and notice it is working fine. Then now in the ALB or load balancer, point to the new deployment. And if it is working, then terminate the old one. So this is a blue-green. Green, blue and green. Blue one's already running and green is the new one. Blue is the old version and new is the green is the new version. So if your new whatever features you have implemented deployed, it's running, then shift your traffic from old to new one. Then we also have rolling updates in ECS. ECS replaces task gradually. So gradually you can replace the task. So that way also can implement zero downtime. Explain the security model of Fargate and how isolation is achieved. So security model, each task runs its own lightweight game, not shared with others. The task is running in a very lightweight virtual machine, so it's not shared with others. It has its own elastic network interface, IP address. So but they are on different kind of different network. They have a separate network. They have separate network. They have a network isolation. And then you can have IAM rules for task, assign list privilege policies for accessing AWS service. So that way you can improve the security. You need to upload files. No need to give delete permission. Right? No need to give delete permission. So that way you improve the security. Security group and private subnet. You need to open port number 80, open only 80. Don't need to open other ports. So control traffic at VPC level. And no host access. Since there is EC2 instance, no EC2 instance, there is no EC2 access and reducing attack surface. So there is no EC2 instance, so we won't be able to like log into some host or something. So attack surface is less. So the other way, this is a security model of Fargate. Runs its own light game, give minimalistic, minimal IAM rules. Task level isolation is there, network isolation, use security group, private subnet, and no direct host access because of SSH access is not. How do you handle long running versus short-lived load on Fargate? So Fargate, if you want to do long running tasks, go for ECS service, web apps, APIs. Go for ECS service. But if it is short task, like you are compressing a file, zipping a file, converting one file, Word document to PDF file. So user uploads 100 documents, another guy uploads another 5 documents, Word document, and it will spin a task which will just convert Word document to PDF. So it's a short-lived job, one-time task. So you can use a task for that. And if it is like a everyday, like you have to run it at 6 p.m. or something, you can use event bridge or step function. So triggers short-lived task or schedule or events. So that also you can do that. What are the best practices for container image optimization for Fargate? So same, it will be same like we have seen in the Docker. Docker image best practices, Docker image optimization best practices. You can see look at the Docker playlist, Docker interview playlist I have already covered. So there are the points I have covered there in detail. Minimal base image, multi-stage builds, layer caching, scan for vulnerabilities, avoid unnecessary packages, and tag images properly. So these are like a distro-less images, multi-stage build, layer caching, all these things I have covered in detail in that Docker interview playlist. So you can have a look at that. Okay, so now let's go to the quiz section. What is the purpose of using embedded metric format in a Fargate application? So purpose is to always scale the task and reduce memory to structure application logs so that CloudWatch can extract metrics. So in a structured way, I'm sending that application logs to CloudWatch so that CloudWatch can parse that metrics and show it on the dashboard, or they can take action based on the alarm task. So AMF allows you to send structured logs that CloudWatch can parse and turn into metrics. Next question is, which of the following tools can also be used inside Fargate container to send custom metrics? What are the tools can be also used inside the Fargate container to send custom metrics? So we can use statsd or Prometheus exporters. Prometheus exporters collects the data and sends it to Prometheus. Like Prometheus exporter and graph on IO, Prometheus graph on IO use, right? So in the graph on dashboard, you can see all the data. So you can use Prometheus exporter. Statsd and Prometheus exporters are common tools for used for exporting app-specific methods. So that's it for today. Hope you like this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also follow me on LinkedIn page, Devops Challenge Hub. There I post quiz contest daily and you can participate in that. And please follow WhatsApp channel where I post regular updates. And please fill up the that form Talent database, Devops Talent database below. So I keep sharing database with the recruiters based on their requirements. And thank you for watching this video. And see you again in the next video.